Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, to all of you Linux Mint users out there, there was an update earlier this month on their new updating reminders and notifications. Some people were probably a little bit more upset about what they were doing. Some people are like, hey, this is a good thing. But it boils kind of down to, as a brief summary for the previous videos I did, is the Linux Mint team noticed that a lot of people were not pushing updates. Not that they're collecting data on the systems, but they can see how many times an apt repository is pinged and things like that. No other data comes in from that. And what they were noticing is that, a lot of people were not updating systems. And in reality, there's a lot of reasons for this, and they're trying to find this sweet balance between understanding that this is somebody's computer, they can do with it what they want, and hey, let's keep the computers secure and up to date. And so they announced that they were pushing out a new update to the manager that's going to be able to manage the updates and give you more notifications and more of a logical way by which to understand how these updates work. So with that, we're going to go ahead and look at the latest version of the Linux blog and have a look at what their process is now going to be. There's a little comment here on the user merge. You can read that if you are interested. We're going to be focusing on the updates notifications. Now, one thing they're going to be doing is they're going to be adding a pop-up notification about the updates. I am not a big fan of this. Let me start out by saying I don't update my systems on my production quite as much as many people might, because every single time I've pushed updates, it breaks something in the workflow. And I'm a very busy person to try and sit down and figure out how to fix whatever just broke in my workflow. I am more like, if it ain't broken, let's not fix it type of thing. Now, that's kind of a double-edged sword because oftentimes it is broken in computer technology and we don't know about it. I try and stay up to date on what are the serious security vulnerabilities, but the problem that we have gotten, and I've talked about this before, we are sometimes so pushed into updates that we accept updates to features rather than just updates to security. This is one of the reasons I love Debian, is because it's like, we're not updating anything unless it's a security risk, because we realize that people don't want a serious change, and that does get in your way. I talked about one time I accidentally updated the Audacity, and they changed a whole bunch of things. It took me an hour to figure out where they put key features that I used every single day. And that's the reason I don't update everything up to date all the time. I set specific times to do it. Now, they are understanding people like me who set specific times, and so they are giving us this notification, which you can see here, which has view the updates or enable automatic. Linux Mint, stop it. Give me another one that says, don't bother me about this crap again. Now, there are settings to do that inside of here. But the fact that this becomes a Windows-esque type thing. View the updates available or enable automatic. No, neither of the option. I don't care what updates are available right now. And you're certainly not enabling automatic updates. But regardless, what they're doing, the first couple of paragraphs just kind of talks about, figuring out the balance between the users, talking to some people and things like that. Now on to the actual settings that they are going to be doing. So inside of your preferences, you can hide the update manager after applying updates. So this gets rid of the little shield bar that's down in the bottom corner, or show the system tray icon in the case of errors. Now, over here you have a couple different options. You can only show notifications for security and kernel updates. So this will show you only the security in theory, and it'll be interesting to see if that works or if we're going to get some feature stuff. But oftentimes, unless it's something major, I'm not going to take the time to push the update right now, and I don't want to see an update every single time I turn the computer on. Nevertheless, they do have options in here for people like me. Show notifications an update has been available for how many days? And I believe you can roll this up to 90. Show notification if an update is older than 15. Don't show notifications if an update was applied. So if any update was applied at all in the system, you can set this and it will not show you any notifications at all until 30 days after the last update. So I think, in my opinion, this is an excellent compromise. So this is something we see. And then the auto refresh, this refreshes the list of updates. Do you want it to do? You can see it's trying to ping every 20 minutes. I think that that's a little bit excessive. We don't need to be checking for updates every 20 minutes. What is this, Arch? I mean, when you update everything and later on in the day, there's another 15 updates. No, it's Linux Mint. It doesn't have that many updates. So you can go ahead and probably roll that up, give it a couple days, and then refresh the list of updates and this is 2 hours. So it refreshes the list of updates after 20 minutes, and that refreshes the list of updates every 2 hours. So there we can actually disable those settings in there as well. So this gives us a little bit more options coming forward in what's going to be in the new Linux Mint Update Manager. So the defaults are 7 days logged in if it's older than 15 calendar days. So this is not going to be constantly notifying you, but you are going to see them in a logical progression when updates are out there. If they become 15 or more days old and you have logged in for 7 days, then it will show you those individual updates, which basically means, 15 plus 7 days, 22 days. That's actually not bad. By default, if you applied any update, it will not notify you for 30 days. So it's probably going to be about 30 days before you see things, which means this is not going to be an excessive thing. So last setting is the grace period. That's the one we already covered. So ultimately, I think that this is an excellent compromise in the middle. It does get people the reminders to push the updates, but it also gives enough things for people like me to sit back and say, I really am aware I'm not pushing updates and I don't really care at this point in time. This is the production system. Arch, that's updated all the time. Media system, updated all the time. The writing computer, that one's actually updated less than the production system because that doesn't even go on the internet pretty much at all. I mean, definitely don't need to change much over there. So these are the little things to think about. And one of the things that Linux Mint, once again, is being excellent at is listening to their users. They recognize the importance of updates, but they also recognize that this is your computer. It's not going to turn into Windows 10 and automatically update everything unless you accidentally push that button. But then at the same time, it's not going to constantly harass you every single day if there's an update to be done as well. So once again, the Linux Mint team has indeed listened to its user base, and having listened to its user base, it has come up with a solution that is in all reality very good. It gives us that good balance. The defaults are good. It's not going to perpetually bother you, but at the same time, it is going to give you those reminders. Hey, may as well go ahead and check up your updates. And so as I update this system to a newer version of Linux Mint sometime in the near future, then I will take advantage of these types of things. And hey, maybe I'll set it and say, okay, every month I'm going to have to sit down and do a time because I haven't even updated the system for a little bit. But that's perfectly okay. I'm aware of the odds and ends of this particular system, which is not used for a lot of going online all the time stuff anyway. And so with that in mind, I just wanted to bring to your attention what Linux Mint is doing with the Update Manager. This is the latest that we have. And if there's any other questions, of course, the Linux Mint team is always excellent at listening to people's comments and criticisms and responding, and they do have very good user-friendly forums over there as well. So once again, Linux Mint wins me over because they just do things in a really good manner. They recognize this is my computer, not theirs, and they've given a good balance going back and forth. So there is that, and I'll leave this blog post in the description down below. Thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.